For the past couple of days, I've been ignoring all my responsibilities to mess around with new Minecraft blocks as one does, and oh my, these are a nice addition to the game. Sulfur and Cinnabar, almost complete box sets, were just missing the cracked variant for some reason. So today I'm going to show you how to texture with Sulfur and Cinnabar. Sulfur. This block is really versatile when it comes to texturing, and to texture with this I would use potent sulfur, of course. They literally go together. Other blocks are similar in both hue and texture are stripped bamboo, sponge, end stone, and wet sponge. And strangely enough, also the horn coral block. I did not want to include this though, as I've built with windows and I don't want water being visible on the back here. And next to this building we've got the cinnabar. And to texture cinnabar, I would just use granite, block of raw copper, this one's kind of a strange one, dripstone, and normal bricks. Kind of simple. Sulfur bricks, possibly my new favorite block. To texture this, I would just use oak planks, stripped oak wood, stripped birch, stripped bamboo, and hay bales. This does need to be accompanied by other blocks to look decent though, as I've used oak planks here and then stripped bamboo. Cinnabar bricks. Here I've tried to push the texturing to its limit, and I know some of you will probably regard this as block vomit and call me a dumb loser, but I respectfully disagree. Here I've used netherrack, stripped mangrove, cinnabar, granite, and bricks. Notice how I've kind of used the mangrove as a transitionary block between the netherrack and the cinnabar bricks, as it's so dark in value. Polished and chiseled sulfur. When texturing these blocks, I would use blocks that are similar in textures, so stripped birch wood, stripped oak wood, and here we've also got another polished block, the polished granite, and this looks really good. Polished and chiseled cinnabar. These blocks are very similar in hue to the pink and red terracotta, which also transition nicely into magenta and purple, so here I've kind of tried to do, I don't know what this is supposed to be. And stripped mangrove also looks nice with these blocks. That was Self Cinnabar Street for you. Now on to the gradients. Here I've transitioned from deep slate bricks to sulfur bricks, and in between I've used cobbled deep slate, the top of deep slate, tough dripstone block, jungle planks, stripped jungle wood, stripped oak wood, block of stripped bamboo, and then sulfur bricks. You could also use deep slate iron ore in between these two blocks if your build's built on a really large scale. But in smaller scale builds like this one, this will look it looks abominable. I don't like this. And this gradient transitions between the same two blocks, just in a different way. This is less saturated, and I've used tough bricks, tough cracked stone bricks, gold ore, and then some glow lichen on top of this. This gradient transitions from resin bricks to sulfur bricks, and in between I've used copper trapdoors, copper block with resin clump on top, stripped jungle wood, stripped oak wood, and stripped bamboo. Not gonna lie, when I try to build in only one layer but I use trapdoors, I kind of feel like I'm cheating, but who cares? This goes from polished sulfur to bone block. This without the polished sulfur is already my favorite gradient of all time, but here I've just added another block to it, and it uses stripped birch logs, smooth sandstone, and then bone block. This goes from mud bricks to sulfur bricks. It uses packed mud, jungle planks, stripped jungle wood, stripped oak wood, and then the sulfur bricks. Now finally a gradient that isn't sulfur bricks. This goes from sulfur to block of bamboo, and it uses stripped bamboo and then bamboo, the top of the texture. Looks really good. This gradient right here uses sulfur bricks, stripped birch wood, sandstone, suspicious sand, and I don't know why these are here. This is supposed to be sand and then smooth sandstone. I don't really like how this one looks. There's too big of a jump in value and texture here from the sulfur bricks to then the birch to then a really textured block. Like, it just doesn't work that well. This however does. It goes from sulfur bricks to prismarine bricks, and it uses the bamboo blocks and then waxed weather copper trapdoor that I really enjoy saying. Waxed weather cut copper, and then another trapdoor on top here. Now this gradient that goes from cinnabar bricks to sulfur bricks is a nice segue into the cinnabar region. This uses cinnabar, bricks, jungle planks, stripped jungle wood, and then stripped oak wood. Really like how this looks, though it looks much better from afar. This goes from nether bricks to polished cinnabar, and it uses red nether bricks, netherrack, stripped mangrove wood, and then the polished cinnabar. Here I've used it with other blocks that are similar in texture, and this uses copper trapdoors, copper, exposed copper, weathered copper, and oxidized copper, just all the normal copper blocks. Here we've got a kind of strange one, but it works strangely enough. Cinnabar, block of raw copper, glow like, and on top of that, copper ore, and then stone. This looks so fantastic. Here I've transitioned from cinnabar bricks to mud bricks, and this uses cinnabar bricks, granite, packed mud, and then the mud bricks. Also a really good one that I can envision myself using a lot in the future. This is not that much of a gradient as it is a sudden. It goes from stripped mangrove to waxed exposed copper. God, I hate that word. And it uses polished cinnabar and polished granite in between. This is more of a way of texturing, I would say. Like, I don't think I would use this as a genuine gradient. But this is the last one, and it goes from cinnabar bricks to stone bricks, and in between it uses cinnabar, block of raw copper, copper ore, glow liking on top of that, and then yeah, that's it. Those were all the gradients, but I've saved the best for the last, as we also got introduced to this new block called the sulfur spike, and the first association I made in my brain when I saw this was those are coffee teeth. I was just messing around with the block and it ended up devolving into this abomination. You might be wondering why there's a ladder up this tongue, and the reason why is because while I was building I thought, what if somebody made this like on an SMP or something as a survival base entrance, so by sneaking and going through the back here you can enter down this guy's throat to this survival base that I don't know if I love or hate. This is so chaotic. I kind of want to blow this place up, but whatever. Whenever I feel unemployed, I just watch these guys, and then I'm like, you know, it's not that bad. Now let's head up again. These taste buds are honestly so fucking grotesque. I don't know why I chose to include them. Could have just left it empty, but no, I had to include the taste buds. Okay, anyway, like, subscribe, do all the things that you're supposed to do. Play epic gamer outro.